So a couple of weeks ago, we went viral for the Tatum and Kawhi thing that went on TikTok and also on YouTube. People responded to it, and people kind of want to hear the answer to that response, and we'll answer to it in a different way. For one, two 3-part questions. Is Jayson Tatum a top 10 player? 1. Is he overrated? 2. Are you still taking him over Kawhi? 3. So now, Drew, I'm going to let you answer first, or unless you want to go first, Rev, you can go first.
Yeah, I'm
Floor
fine.
is yours, Boston guy.
All right, so is Jayson Tatum a top 10 player? Yes. Is Jayson Tatum overrated? No. Is he better than Kawhi? Right now, I guess the answer would be no, but going forward, I would 100% take Jayson Tatum.
So do you in that video that people saw, do you take anything back in that video?
No, because everything I said is fine. I'm more than okay with everything I said. It looks bad because Jayson Tatum was bad in the NBA Finals. Fact. I don't care. It is what it is. I see Jayson Tatum, and I understand what he can be. At this age, he's already shown that he can do it at a high level. However, in the biggest moment of his career thus far, he didn't show up. Here's a news flash. There's been one player in Finals history to not fold. It's Michael Jordan. Did we ever sit here and say that Jayson Tatum's Michael Jordan? No. We understand that Jayson Tatum is a young guy who has... Okay, but he was not the best player in a finals.
Oh, that's what you meant. Oh, okay.
No, but didn't fold also. I wouldn't say Shaq folded necessarily, but D-Wade was significantly better than him. And D-Wade's the reason they won.
I would say D-Wade, peak D-Wade, never folded too.
No, I'm fine. I'm fine with that also, because also in 2011, he did not fold. He was the best player on the Heat that season. But Jayson Tatum at this young age has shown a tremendous amount. Led the league in the playoffs in points and assists. The youngest player to ever do that. That is impressive. Now, he also did lead the playoffs in turnovers as well, which is not impressive. He has things that he has to work on. That's every player in the NBA. I'm fine with everything. Do I think he's overrated? No. At this age, to be doing what he's doing, that is amazing. But again, I can't look at just his age and automatically look at the finals and just throw it aside. No, that happened. That's on your resume. You're going to have to work to fix that, of course. LeBron in his first finals was not that good. But again, they played a box and one on him because who else are you going to defend on that? The difference between that is now Tatum's 2 years older, and the supporting cast that Tatum had around him was significantly better than that LeBron had.
But you know who else played in his first finals at 24? Dwayne Wade.
And Dwayne Wade was amazing, for sure. But Tatum has his ways to go. And I think that off one series, I'm not going to completely sell my stock in Jayson Tatum. Of course, this was not his best showing by any means, but he showed throughout this playoffs that he is more than capable of bounce-back games, which he showed in Milwaukee, where he had his signature performance in Game 6. He showed in Miami, where Jimmy Butler was at times the best player in the series. Joel believes that he's the best player in the series. I don't have too much argument against that. But down the stretch of that Game 7, Jayson Tatum was taking it to the Heat and hitting huge shot after huge shot. I think that I'm not going to overanalyze the finals, even though it's the biggest moment and it was supposed to be his coming out party. He will be fine going forward, and I'm completely fine with all my statements that I've made with Jayson Tatum.
Is Jayson Tatum a top 10 player? Yeah, I believe so. Is he overrated? A little bit, but not too crazy. But I think he was getting a little bit overrated in the sense that they were trying to put him in the conversation as being the guy already when he hasn't actually won the big thing, and they were trying to put him on this type of pedestal, but he hasn't actually done anything yet. So I think he was just a little bit slightly overrated, but nothing crazy. Do I think Jayson Tatum is better than Kawhi? No, I never thought it. I don't think it. I still think Jayson Tatum has the room to grow. Like Drew said, I think Tatum has ways to go. And I think, when you look at the whole playoffs, it's something about a superstar playing against a superstar. You look at the guys he's going to be matched up with, of course, for the next 2-3 seasons. Jimmy Butler, Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, Giannis. Steph Curry, It says something when you go into a finals. Even in going to the ECF, Jimmy Butler was the best player in the Eastern Conference Finals, I believe. I think he played amazing on both ends of the floor. I think offensively, he stuck it too, especially that Game 6 in Boston. That was
insane.
Fantastic.
One of the best performances.
Going into the finals and then Steph significantly being better than you by a large margin. I think that kind of like puts the separator, and there is a different class to the superstar thing. There's the guys that's done it, and then the guys that's coming up. So I think even Luka Doncic, he hasn't done it, but you've never once questioned who was the best player in this. Even though Kawhi has been amazing, Luka was right there with him. Against Phoenix, Luka was the best player in that series. Against Utah. So he played Kawhi twice. He was right there with him. Some can even argue he significantly sometimes played better than him. So I think, there's a certain gap between the type of superstars, the tier 1 superstars and the tier 2 superstars where there's a certain level. So I think that in that sense, Tatum was getting a little bit overrated. He was getting put into that room up to stop when he's still in this room right here, which is the next level. So I still think Kawhi is better. Tatum is a little bit overrated, but he's a top 10 player.
So because and you're still on the fence of him being a superstar.
No, I was trolling with you guys.
Okay.
He's a tier 2 superstar, I would like to put it. So he's like 8 to 10.
Perfectly said.
Like he's there, but he's not there.
I agree.
When talking about Jayson Tatum, it's listen. Jayson Tatum's finals performance does nothing for me in terms of where I rank him after. He had a phenomenal playoff run.
He was.
Now, had he been great in the finals and then won a championship, yes, you propel him further because he just did something historic. But when looking at the history of players that have been this young and they've been in the finals or have even, made some kind of playoff runs, let's just look at star players in general. Jayson Tatum for the first 3 playoff series, he beats KD, he beats Giannis, he beats Jimmy Butler. He's having an all-time great run. It's just in the finals where he plays poorly. LeBron, first finals, averaged 22, 7, and 7. The same numbers as Tatum. He averaged 36. He shot 36% from the field. The same number, 1% less than Jayson Tatum. LeBron's second finals, he averaged 18 points per game, choked against Dallas. Yes, you have your anomalies like Dwayne Wade, who play phenomenal, but Dwayne Wade is the exception, not the rule. Yes, you have your anomalies like Kevin Durant, that in 2012, he goes toe-to-toe with LeBron. The exception, not the rule. Jayson Tatum struggled. It's as simple as that. He was dealing with a shoulder injury. I'm not going to use that as an excuse. Is he overrated? Depends on who you ask. There are some people that think Tatum is better than where he should be ranked. But to me, he's still a borderline top 10 player. If we look at, this is my top 10, and I'm going to take into account players that are also injured, that are coming back next year. So that includes Kawhi and Dame. This is my top 10. It's Giannis, it's Jokic, it's Curry, it's Luka, it's LeBron, it's Kawhi. Let me go back. Let me do it again. It's Giannis, Jokic, Curry, Luka, LeBron, Embiid, Kawhi, KD, Jimmy Butler, and Tatum. So Jayson Tatum's 10 for me.
You have KD where?
I have him 8.
Under Embiid.
And Kawhi.
Oh.
Yep.
So going forward, that's why I'm curious. So going forward, you're taking Kawhi next season?
I think Kawhi, because there's a chance the Clippers are going to be favorites to win the championship. And I like the roster. There's a chance the Clippers are holding up that trophy next year. And I got to take that into account.
You said in the video, I remember this now. I'm glad you said that because it just popped up in my brain. You said Tatum could be better than Kawhi as early as next season.
Yep.
Which means the season that's about to come up.
Yep.
But now you think with the Clippers possibly holding up the trophy, it changes your outlook on Kawhi versus Tatum.
Yeah, because the Clippers, for one, I think have a better roster than the Celtics. Number 2, I think Paul George is better than Jaylen Brown.
Easily.
Paul George to me is 11. Dame is
like 13,
12, 13. It depends. I kind of like Trae Young more than Dame. So I'd put Trae Young at 12. I'd put Dame at 13. But we also have to say, like, Damian Lillard faced the Warriors in 2019 in the conference finals with no KD, got swept, had the same numbers as Tatum outside of shooting that efficient from 3. Tatum shot 45% from 3.
Yeah, that was a wild.
Dame shot 37% from 3 versus the Warriors in the conference finals. So, like, let's not act like Tatum is the first superstar to struggle. But for some reason, Tatum struggles, and now he is not a superstar. He's not top 10.
The memes destroyed
They
him.
did the same thing with Paul George in a bubble. They did the same thing with Paul George in a bubble. They do the same thing with other players. Look, it's Tatum is still that guy. He's top 10, and he's 24. He's the 10th best player in the NBA at 24 years old. That's something to be proud about. And considering depending on how he bounces back this upcoming season, he could be higher. There's a world where the Celtics are back in his position next year.
I think he'll have a great regular season, but I think everybody's just going to wait to the playoffs to see how he responds to that finals. I think regular season at this point, nobody's going to care what he does in the regular season. It's really about just how do you bounce back in the playoffs.
Agreed.
But
when you get to that level, it's not about the regular season.
So why? I've noticed this about you, though.
Talk to me.
You're kind of lower on Embiid.
I am very low on Embiid.
He just finished top 3 in MVP voting in back-to-back years, and
then lost in the second round again.
His team is not that good, bro.
What about last year?
What do you mean last year?
When he choked against Atlanta.
Ben Simmons?
Nah, he choked. He also did choke.
He had like 8 turnovers that game.
No, Embiid was gassed. You're right.
Gassed. Wow.
But he also didn't have much help around.
The best athletes in the world, gassed.
I know. Listen, what did you have, Embiid?
8.
No, 7.
KD's
7.
at 8.
7.
KD's at 8.
I'm fine with that.
I actually have
Embiid's at 6. Kawhi's at 7.
No, you did have Embiid at 6.
I have, yeah.
I would have Embiid at 7.
I have Embiid at 8.
I would have Embiid at 7.
I have Kawhi at 7, KD at 6.
Joel Embiid in that series versus the Hawks averaged 30, 13, and 4 with 2 blocks and a steal.
Read out his turnovers.
He shot 47% from the field and 36% from 3. His second best player was Seth. He averaged 21.
Oh, Seth. Shout out to Seth. Seth was amazing.
Dog shit this
and
year.
He had 33 turnovers in 7 games. So that's like what?
I think one game he had like 8.
A little bit more than 4?
That's 4.7 turnovers a game.
It's not great.
So that's a lot of turnovers, but they were also heavily trapping him.
That's
That's something that Joel Embiid came into the season and he was better at. He was a better passer this season.
He was.
That was a big weakness.
So that's why Embiid to me, come on.
I'm not low on Embiid though. He's 8. What's wrong with 8?
There's a world where I can see Kawhi over Embiid.
I was gonna say you have 6.
Kawhi and
I
KD.
have 7. He has 8. I'm fine with it.
You have him over KD and Kawhi. I don't. That's all. That's really the difference. I don't think there's a world Embiid is better than KD. It's just me though.
I mean, I can see it. I'm not going to dispute that too much.
I mean, it's really it's so tough with the top 10 guys because you can outside of the 5 or 6, the order's crazy.
KD at 8.
KD at 8 is crazy.
That's strong.
KD, there's not 7 basketball players better.
That's
than
strong.
Kevin Durant.
Like
Giannis,
is Kawhi better?
Jokic.
Is Kawhi better?
Kawhi is better than KD.
I don't know.
Kawhi has done more than KD as of recently.
Last season, we can't just look at last season and not see what KD did in
Don't
backpacking.
you have Embiid over Kawhi though?
I do have Embiid over Kawhi.
What has Embiid done more than Kawhi?
Top 3 in MVP voting the past 2 seasons. He's been runner-up, literally.
Is that something though?
That is something. That is definitely something.
I thought you were talking about like the playoffs. That's why.
I mean, he averaged freaking 30.
Kawhi got to the WCF, bro.
No, Paul George got there.
That's true.
It's Kawhi's there, man. They go to the finals.
Facts.
Crazy.
But if KD doesn't get, KD was, it's so tough because KD he be right there in the MVP race. Did he get hurt?
Facts.
Then his
and
team.
he was a centimeter away from the ECF probably.
So would you like my top 10 to be? Would my top 10 be better if it's Giannis, Jokic, Curry, Luka, LeBron?
No, your top 10 is your top 10. What do you?
KD, Kawhi, Embiid, Butler, and Tatum.
Your top 10 is your top 10. Do you base it off? Do you like? Because I use the last 2 seasons as a measuring stick for my top 10.
And you have PG over Jimmy Butler?
I have Jimmy
Butler over Paul George.
I
have PG over
understandable as well.
I have Butler at 11.
Mm-hmm.